Previously on the channel.
That's the one. First one of the session. Hopefully we can get some more later on. So we'll get this one back and hopefully a one might come on later on. But yeah, what a lovely pike. Today you've joined me on some local gravel pits. I'm actually on my second session on here. We've already done a 24-hour and it wasn't too bad, you know, it was fairly productive. It's had quite a lot of angling pressure, these pits, over the past couple of weeks. Now, today I thought, you know what, I've got a choice. I can either go onto a different gravel pit or stay on here. I thought, you know what, sod it, I'll just stay on here, do another 24. I'm going to recast, like I say, every hour religiously, and then hopefully by tomorrow morning we can get a few fish in the bag. And we're just going to do, sort of repeat the process, same as yesterday, just keep these baits moving around. Like I said, I tried just about everything I could to get a bite, and these fish are just, they've either been hammered over the past couple of weeks, a lot of them have been caught and it shied them away from here, or they're just not up for it with the weather conditions because it has been quite cool. We've had lots of snow, lots of rain. It's been -4, -5 for the past, I'd say the previous 4 days. Every morning it's been frozen over, so I'm going to keep the tactics same old, sardine on all 3 rods. All running leisure setups. The float rod I had out yesterday, it didn't make an ounce of difference whether it was on a float or a leisure, to be honest, so that is going to be the simple tactics. Sardine, elastic band to keep it on, because these baits can get quite soft, and I'll just keep it on because I want to be casting all over the place. The middle rod's going to be in the margin, but the other two I'm going to be blasting them out all over the place. Deeper water, maybe near the snag lines to the left hand side, and then that is pretty much it. So we'll get this one out there. That's going to be on all 3 rods. We'll go straight out with this one. And the joys of fishing gravel pits like these, the 24 hours we've done so far, we've only had a couple of small ones. They can only get bigger, hopefully. So that's going to be the plan. If today goes, if it's sort of bright conditions, really sunny, it might be the kiss of death for the pike fishing, but at the moment we have got a bit of cloud cover, so it is nice. So I've had a few people ask me about popping up the baits, which is my preferred method, whether it's the poly ball or the bolster inserts. I always find that over the years, I mean, pop up your little poly balls, they work brilliantly and loads of anglers always catch on them. My preferred method is the bolster inserts because it's quite, you know, it's less obtrusive, and it's, with it being inside the fish, it doesn't pop the fish up completely off the bottom, depending on what size bait you use. I normally use a medium-sized bait, so when you put it in the bait, it'll cast out, it'll go down really nice and soft, just gently either onto weed or onto chod. And the trebles in the fish will be just cocked up off the bottom, so the tail will be resting on the bottom. And I always find it's a nice way of a pike coming in and finding your bait, because most of the time they won't come in and just annihilate the bait. They'll just come in, investigate it. And the one thing I like about it is that when the pike pushes the bait, which it normally does or retracts its mouth, it moves the bottom. The bigger pike will get the fins and start moving them side to side, and it disturbs the bottom, and the pike's seeing what the bait's going to do. And with a bolster insert, when it does that, whether it's nudging the bait or moving the bottom, it'll move slowly, and it can sometimes come up in the water. And I always find that's brilliant for the pike to come in and grab the bait. And that is my preferred method, the bolster inserts. Polyballs are all, I've used them in the past and I've caught on them, but less is more in my opinion. I want the bait to be, as it would be if it was leisure, just lifted up off the bottom, and then any pike coming in, any movement in the water, that's what you want, where it'll just start moving. There's not a big poly ball in the bait there and all. It's just nice, just resting there, and it'll slowly move up and move around the swim, and that can entice the pike because it thinks it's a live fish or it's a wounded fish, and it does act like a wounded fish rather than just a static fish popped up vertical. Right, so set up now, leisure dead bait, really simple, leisure stem, long trace, popped up bait with a bolster insert, and that is going to be the winning combination. This is going to get us an absolute monster. Right, where shall we go? We've had that in the margins for a good few hours. I can't see a thing, I'm being blinded by that sun. Where do we go? Let's go about 30 yards outside it. give that a bash there. So we're coming up to about 3 o'clock. It's been one of them days. It can go two ways. I can get a decent sized fish tonight going into darkness, or maybe first thing tomorrow morning, or we blank for the rest of the session. I'm going to be here till about 8, 9 o'clock, so we've still got plenty of time left, but I don't like it when it's these kind of conditions where you're going to have to wear your sunglasses because it's that bright in the daytime. It can be the kiss of death for pike fishing, it really can. I've done loads of videos on this channel where we're catching nothing. The minute the light drops down, low light levels, that's when the sort of fish start producing, and we're catching a few. So I don't know if it's going to be very cold tonight. I think it might be 3 or 4 degrees, hopefully. Hopefully it's not going to be -2, -3, because that would be a bit of a pain. But yeah, fingers crossed that we get at least, I'm going to probably say we'll be lucky for one fish, looking at the past 36 hours that we've been on here. We did have a few aborted takes yesterday, which was quite strange. Indicator pulled out, no line being taken. And at first I thought it might be the pike being picky with the baits, but there was no marks on the baits whatsoever. And believe it or not, every fish we've caught, the pike have done what they normally do this time of year. He's picked the bait up and done nothing with it, just held on to it. And a lot of people do ask me, will a fresh bait catch you more pike? I mean, it's personal preference. I've caught on baits that have been manky and been stuck in a bucket for days on end and had big pike on them, but I feel that if you've got a fresh dead bait, full of blood, full of attraction, the aminos coming out of the bait, I think the pike will home in on that, and I think you'll do much better. But if you've got a dead manky old fish in a margin, they're opportunist feeders, the scavengers, they just look for anything they can eat. So, and this time of year, I don't think they pass upon a free meal. That's if they were up for it. So, right, let's get this a bit further out. That's not too bad. So I think I've probably exhausted just about every option I can in this swim. We've done the snag lines, the margins, the deeper water. Literally, I've combed every inch of this swim, anything from a rod length to probably 50, 60 yards out, and that's pretty much my boundary. Any further, if anglers turn up later or if people want to cast down here, then I'll be pretty much in their swim. So I can't really complain for the amount of water I've got, but you think to yourself, well, are most of the pike at the bottom end of the lake or the top end of the lake, or are they in mid-water? But I mean, I've tried everything. I think it's just a case of just hoping and praying that some come down this neck of the woods. But we have seen one fish this morning, we had 2 yesterday, so I'm thinking the odd fish is coming through. And we've had a nice breeze blowing down to this corner, so that's been going on for the past hour. I'm hoping it might bring maybe a few bait fish or bring the pike down this end. But I've looked in just about all these snags on this left-hand side and this tree line on the right, and I've seen nothing. And the beauty is it's nice and gin clear, so you can see just about every blemish. Sometimes on these kind of venues, you go to the nearest tree line, you look down in the margins and you can see a pike tucked away or maybe a few bait fish, but it's pretty much void of anything. You'd think the lake has got no fish in it whatsoever, but that is pretty much this style of fishing this time of year. I mean, that's just right. A few leaves catching on the trebles, but nothing to worry about there. So, right, same again. Yeah, that's fine. The baits have been perfect. The area's out sort of in the 20-foot area, nice and clear. A little bit of chod in the margins, but generally speaking, it's not been bad for presentation. So I think I might go to this right hand side of this tree just down here for a bit, give that a go. So we've got, like I say, probably an hour and a half. I'm going to stick it out as long as I can. Normally that's anything between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. And that should give us enough time to hopefully get a fish. Well, I've had a 30-40 minute play around with the lure rods. Just something to get a bite, and I've had a chat with a few anglers that have been passing by over the past 20 minutes and they've had absolutely nothing. It's been dead. So I think we've been lucky this past 48 hours to get even a couple of fish, to be honest. Very tough conditions, but this is why we do it. And it looks like the few anglers that are on this lake, I think there's been about 3 or 4 tucked away around here. There's a lot of them wrapping up now, so I think that's my best option. Well, we've come to the end of the session. It's been a bit of a grueler, if I'm honest. I'm not going to be too hard on myself. It's my first time on this pit. We had 2 fish on the first session, literally 1 in the morning, 1 about 12:30 at night. Then this session has been very quiet. We had a little bit of a occurrence on the middle rod when I was bringing it back, pike going for it, but it was only a small one. So yeah, it seems at the moment hardly anything's happening. I spoke to a chap not too long ago, subscriber, and he was fishing on the left hand side and he had absolutely nothing. He just come for the night. And the chap on the right hand side, he's pike fishing. I spoke to him when I first turned up the other day, and he said he was going to have 48 hours on there, and I don't know if he's caught out. I haven't heard anything, I haven't seen anything, and I did speak to the bailiff earlier on as well. He said the previous weeks, when it was nice and mild before Storm Bert, it was producing, there was some nice fish being caught, but with these cold temperatures, the snow, the rain, the weather, the cold nights, it's been -3, -4. That normally is the kiss of death, especially when you've got bright sunshine as well in the daytime. So all in all, not a bad couple of fish for a 48-hour session, but I think it's going to be a case now of I might have a few more lakes to go to, do a few sessions, and then when the river's in a better state and the drains, we'll shoot over there, and then we'll try and get some more big pike from there. So all in all, not too bad. So I'd just like to thank everyone for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.